And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Mike Prince Show. We are so blessed and fortunate to have on the line with us none other than head women's basketball coach for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, Coach Sandy Pugh. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing wonderful, Mike. How about yourself?
You know what? I dare not complain, but it seemed like it's been so long since we last spoken. You been all right?
I've been good. Busy but good.
Well, I guess that's always a good thing, and I know that we're on the cusp of basketball season coming up. You're staying on the grind, and if I'm not mistaken, is this going to be season 4 or 5, Coach? I get confused.
This will be season 5.
Season number 5, and I know you've had to deal with a bunch of challenges and adversities, just like all the other coaches with COVID-19 and the portal being birthed and NIL deals and all that, but you're surviving the storm, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I tell you what, it was a blessed day when they finally declared the pandemic over, and we don't have to test daily and we don't have to test weekly or monthly. It was just like, thank you. Finally here.
No doubt. Now, we talk about it all the time, and some pay a little more attention to detail than others, and there's always been a concern about the mental wear down when you're dealing with COVID, when you're dealing with life as a student athlete. But how does that weigh on coaches in general?
You know what? I think most coaches are more concerned about the student athlete than they are themselves in some instances. But, you have to learn to take your time. And I think being older, we're more aware of our mental health challenges and where we need to, take that cow gun, take me away, or maybe let practice out a little earlier, or maybe doing some group discussions with the team or whatever our needs might be. I think as coaches we're a little more in tune than the student athletes are. So we look at more at what's best for them than we do for ourselves. But yeah, it's tough all the way around. Managers included, assistant coaches, head coaches. Everyone was affected by the COVID and what transpired the last few years.
Now, Coach, I just want to make a mental note and reference that you said older, not I, okay? So you declared and referred to yourself as older.
I am rounding that corner, Mike, so, I mean.
Hey, but you know what?
I try not to act it. I try not to act it.
Well, that's okay. As long as you can see around the corner, that's okay. It's getting to the corner that's something worth celebrating. So continue to round that corner, Mama. And there's one thing about it, when you round that corner, everything else is all downhill.
That's true. I mean, seemingly every morning when you get up, something's creaking. So
Yes, ma'am. I didn't even know that you had aches on your aches and joints are popping that you didn't even know existed any longer. So trust me, you're preaching to the choir on that one. And speaking of, aging and maturing on things, you're at a tweener stage right now with the new look Panthers. I know with portal changes and graduation rates, it's almost a new dynamic and approach to coaching these days. What is this 22-23 Panther squad going to look like under Coach Sandy Pugh?
I'm excited. A lot of the dynamics that I hoped that we would show last year, we had a ton of injuries at my point guard position, and the little Rosario kid literally limped through the whole season on a bad foot and had to have surgery as soon as the season was over. And then the Tamirica Taylor kid that had played point guard for me the previous year had some family issues, and she had to step away from basketball. So we were left without a point guard. So we had to move some kids around, put the 2 guards, the 3s here and there. Needless to say, we weren't as effective as I would like, but we did finish conference at 10-8, and I have all the faith in these young ladies because we returned the bulk of the team. Diana Rosenthal's back. We have a young lady here by the name of Niam Thornton, who is a Penn State graduate, and Destiny Jenkins from down the road. She hit the big shots to send UIW to the national tournament last year. So we're excited about those two ladies coming in and taking over the point guard slot. We know we have some kids that can shoot basketball coming back from last year. So just to have a point guard who understands how to play, how to distribute, how to get downhill, as the kids say, how to get racks. So that's what they call getting to the lane. So how to get racks. And so that's going to bring a whole different dynamic to what we do in terms of our game. Our saying is 3 p.m., 3-pointers made. So we're going to be shooting the three. We got some kids that can really shoot. Every kid on the team can shoot the three ball. But we got to be able to put it in the hole. And I'm excited about what I'm seeing.
Okay, very good. Now, we know customarily you have been known for being able to find that high post dominant player, and with the dynamics of the way the game is somewhat changed a little bit, do you see that as part of the bread and butter of a Sandy Pugh identified team, or have you had to tweak your approach a little bit?
Not at all. That's still going to be a dynamic. Geraldine Smith is returning. Desiree Lewis is coming to us from the University of Tulsa. She's one of the toughest kids I've ever coached, and those two kids are going to definitely share time there at that elbow area. Kennedy Paul is returning. Kennedy Paul is a prolific three-point shooter, but she also is very, very good in that logo area, shooting the mid-range jump shot. So, you're definitely going to see a lot of middle action. You're going to see the fast break, getting up and down the court. You're going to see full court pressure. So these kids are going to be extremely exciting to watch. Definitely, I was sharing with the staff over the last 20-plus years of coaching at Division I. This is one of 3 teams that I've had that I can just go from player to player to player, and just incredible people in terms of character, in terms of what they bring to the table, involving their teammates and being a part of that family and that culture, and asking questions. Coach, do you want me to go do this? Or, this kid saw me picking up some leftover cups, and she went all the way across and picked up those. Said, Coach, I got you on this side. That just blew my mind, because I have not had a kid do that in years. So I'm just excited about the energy they bring. I'm excited about the culture, landing and being here and being in place. I'm excited about COVID being over. I'm ready to get back to basketball. Monday's our first official practice. We've just been kind of doing workouts and breakdown work and lifting weights and getting our conditioning in. But this is just an amazing crew, and they're great students. We have a young lady right now that's in D.C. On the HBCU initiatives as a top student at Prairie View in biology and in the region and at HBCU. So just a lot of proud moments that I've had with this team, from workouts to the academic side, and to where the culture is going and how we're progressing. Just really excited about everything.
And that young lady that you're referring to, Miss Kennedy, Paul, affectionately known as KP, she is doing it on all levels. She's doing it on the floor. She's doing it in the locker room. She's doing it in the classroom. Now she's doing it out abroad, representing not only Prairie View, but her family, and representing everyone that grew up with her in the old neighborhood. What a proud moment she may be experiencing right now, representing and getting the chance to go to the Oval Office. Not everybody can say that, Coach, in their lifetime.
Oh, definitely. I spoke with her mom yesterday, because there were a number of students that went on the trip. I think Dr. Simmons is accompanying them to the White House. But I spoke with her mom, and she just said to me, she said, Coach, I'm just so appreciative of Prairie View A&M. and what you all have done for Kennedy. And, you know, and I just, you know, you don't think about that. You just think, you know, this is great for Kennedy, but you don't, like you're saying, you don't think about her neighborhood and what she represents, you know, and the Bruley. You know, she's from Baton Rouge, but she lives in Bruley, or Addis, which is right outside on the outskirts, and, you know, and her family. This is just a momentous occasion for everyone involved. And I know I've never had a kid go to the White House. I've been to the White House, but I stand outside the gate like everybody else and, you know, and wave and hope Obama saw me, you know.
I know that's right.
And meet and greet. Hopefully she'll meet Kamala Harris and you know, and President Biden. It's just a phenomenal opportunity for her. So we're just really happy and thrilled that she was selected.
Yes, ma'am. And it's why athletics is really so important. It's about wins and losses. It's about championships, but it's about lifelong lessons, team building, character building, and studies have shown that your student athletes, in most cases, whether they were champions or not in their respective conferences or sport, they go on to be leaders in their workforce. They go on to be leaders in their community. And these building blocks, and yes, you would want to go 24-0 each season, but we know that's not a reality. But a reality is that these kids get to graduate. The reality is that these kids morph into adults that are productive and producive in their various communities and society. And it goes beyond what you can create, in your case, on the hardwood, but it's what you can create in life. And when you sit back and analyze that from a coach's perspective, does it sometimes mesmerize you on how this sport has evolved, in particular women's basketball? There are the higher ratings than ever in this last WNBA championship, and just how, even though it's still a progress in motion, but how women's athletics are being appreciated today.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, it's what you're seeing these girls, these ladies do on the court is phenomenal. I had occasion to watch the WNBA championship all the way through because two of my dear friends were coaching, well, three. One won it as an assistant. But, you know, just watching it to support their teams and cheer for them. But, I mean, what you're seeing these girls do on the floor is just phenomenal. And, I think a lot has to do with, you know, the year-round training, you know, being able to come in the summers and get that work in. That wasn't afforded to us when I was in school. So I think it's grown, the brand of basketball. And, you don't want to use that, but I think there was a major awareness surrounding the WNBA based upon what was going on with Brittany issue in Russia. So I think that shined a light too. And then people who probably wouldn't traditionally watch basketball were like, hey, you know, I'm going to check this out and see this, because so many people are supportive of Brittany and her family. And, you know, and she's a Houstonian kid. She's from Texas. So, you know, we want to, you know, lift her up in prayer and her family and you know, in this time, a dark time for her, and hopefully she comes home soon. I definitely want to say that. And, you know, and the WNBA has just had an amazing run this year in terms of the quality of play. The number of players who are calling it quits, you know, they've been the stakeholders for it for so long. Sylvia Fowles, Sue Bird, you know, so just an amazing time for women's basketball, as you said, all the way around.
Yes, ma'am. And one thing that I truly appreciate about women's basketball is that you must rely on your teammates in order to have success. Not that it's not the case in men's basketball, but more so prevalent in women's basketball because of the passing game, because of the pick and rolls, because of basketball being played in an era that I grew up in. It makes me appreciate the camaraderie and teamwork that it takes to put together a winning program.
Yeah. You know, a lot of basketball purists always said that the women's game more closely resembled the game of yesteryears back in the 50s and so forth because, they weren't allowed to dunk. So the game had to be played below the rim, and you had to be able to master your cuts and your timing and your passes and play together as a team. So, and men now are just so incredibly athletic. I mean, they're making a rebound the length of a court, alley-oop. I mean, you're just seeing, what LeBron James and company brought to the table when they were in Miami, and, of course, what you're seeing with the Warriors and, the old Spurs. I mean, the level of play and the influence coming from Europe with the continuity offense has also had a major contribution to the changes. And the women's game has adapted, right along with that. And so it's fun. It's fun to coach it. It's fun watching the kids play it. It's fun teaching and watching them learn basketball and come up to you with the lingo, the coach's lingo. Coach, we're running Rhino. We're in the lockdown. We're doing this. Or we're at the pinch post. Or, so learning a lot. And then when they're done, I can't tell you, I have about 18 kids coaching right now. And every year, kids that I never thought would coach or call them. And guess what, Coach? I'm going to be coaching. And it's like that excites me. That makes me feel good that, we're doing some right things for kids. And not only are we doing right things, but they want to give that back. So I just think that's what this is all about. That's our purpose. That's part of the plan, and continue to grow. And, if I have a kid playing WNBA, that would be awesome. I've had one kid before, but in a Winfield kid. But, if we can get that to that level, that'd be great. But in the meantime, we want to continue to foster growth and development and, continue to strive toward excellence on and off the court.
Yes, we're speaking right now with Coach Sandy Pugh of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. And, Coach, I had to make a side note here. We're going to have a special episode with you just teaching us the language of basketball, talking about rhinos and lockdowns and everything. So be prepared for that. Get your list out and educate us, because we like to be educated and informed. So if we happen to be sitting side court, we can hear the calls. Oh, that's what that means, and you look out for that. So you can do that for us in the future, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That would tickle me to death. I love it.
Well, it would tickle me to death, too, and educate me at the same time. Now, look, we're talking about the future. I don't know if you're at liberty right now. You have a very impressive non-conference schedule coming up this year. Are you at liberty to discuss that right now?
I don't know. Did they approve? I don't know if they've approved my schedule or not. I haven't heard anything back from SID office, but just a quick note, we're playing in the Pac-12 Challenge. The SWAC has a Pac-12 Challenge. 6 teams were chosen. We were amongst those 6 teams to play in the SWAC Pac-12 Challenge. We will be playing Washington State at Washington State, and then they'll be playing us on our home court, not this season, but the next season. And I know for a fact, like, Southern University's playing Oregon, but Oregon's coming to Southern first. So it's going to be, and it was all during a particular week. So that's going to be really exciting for our conference. I expect that we'll get a lot of play, media play from that. I think our men did it last year. And so it's like a 4-year package. So this year, next year, we'll get a follow-up game with them, and then they'll choose 6 more teams to participate. So that's really exciting. That's something that Charles, that was one of his brainstorms that he pulled together. So we're really excited about that. We're also playing in Florida. I have a number of kids from Florida, so any chance we can to get down there for those games, we'd like to do so. Bethune and Pvamu are coming here, so we won't have to go to Florida for our SWAC round for them. I want to say we start SWAC conference at home this year. As everybody knows, we've been on the road for SWAC conference 3 years in a row. So it's going to be great to start conference at home for a change. It used to be where you would rotate it, but with the schedule change, adding the two schools, it kind of threw a hiccup into what they were doing. So that's going to be nice. We're also playing Arizona State and Oregon State and the University of Tulsa and Michigan State. We'll round out our preseason, and we'll have some home games with Jarvis Christian, Houston Tillotson, and on the road with Southeastern. So it's going to be a nice preseason mix. You're going to see a lot of power basketball. You'll see some continuity. In your preseason schedule, you want to see a lot of different looks, so you'll be better prepared for your conference slate.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, my only concern in hearing that, Coach, is I hope that the Pac-12 is still in existence for those 4 years of commitment. And I guess I don't, you know what I mean? I'm asking this, and I don't know if you know the answer to this. In the event that the Pac-12 dissolves, will those agreements still be upheld with the particular institutions that are currently making up the Pac-12?
I doubt it. If they're not in existence any longer, I would think that would be a, that would pretty much, because it's a conference thing. The conference made the contracts. And so we were told who we were playing because we were selected. So we were told who we were playing, and then we just had to find the date. And then they were trying to get it within a reasonable time. So, yeah, that's interesting because there's going to be a lot of shakeups that are coming down the pipe in the next year. So that's going to be something that we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. Definitely.
Yes, ma'am. No doubt about it.
Illustrious commissioner, he always is, has a finger on the pulse, and hopefully, he'll be able to make an adjustment for us there if need be.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on that, and we're definitely going to keep an eye on the Panthers. Now, I want to make sure that I have the clarity on this right. It is preferred to be called the Panthers and not the Lady Panthers, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Something that started years and years ago. It actually, my understanding, it actually started with Leon Barmore because he did not want the Lady Texters to be referred to as the Lady Bulldogs. So some kind of way, and then he wanted to identify separate from the Texters, but I was told that by one of my old coaches, but it kind of generated that conversation, and then it went from there to other coaches not wanting to put that moniker on there of lady, and you don't say gentleman this. So, with Title IX coming through and different other things, it began to take hold, and it's just been something that, we were challenged with. And there's nothing wrong if a team wants to be identified. There's perfectly nothing wrong with that. But my teams have always traditionally gone with just, whatever the mascot is. So it's defined by just women's basketball, and Panthers women's basketball is the title.
Well, in all I get, and we get an understanding, and we just want to make sure that we give the necessary honor and respect. I know I've been guilty for many seasons saying the Lady Panthers, and that's what it's all about, educating and informing people on what the next level is, right? Because if you get caught behind, you can end up in a whirlpool of mess, and we definitely don't want to be in a whirlpool of mess, Coach.
In this day and age of pronouns, yes, I agree totally. But we don't say anything. If someone says Lady Panthers, we just keep going. It's all representative, so we're good.
Okay, you're good, and I know practice is just getting off, and we're going to have to find out if there are any rising stars. We know the people that you have penciled in, but there's always a rising star or two that kind of makes their presence felt, and you'd be like, wow, I wasn't expecting this. This is a hidden gem. So we'll be looking for those to come up down in the near future, Coach.
Oh, yeah. We have about 3 or 4 kids that we're really high on, and we have high expectations. Have a kid from Trinity Valley that sat out here last year, Kayla Hutchins. That's going to be special. Nia Thornton is a prolific point guard. I mean, she's a Power 5 point guard. She can play, shoot the three, leads vocally, pulls her team together. She's just amazing to watch. A lot of and then we have a freshman from Winter Haven, Kayla Smith, that I think left-handed, 5'11", shoots the three. She's something to watch. I've always been known in this league for having bigger guards. The 5'10", 5'11" kids out there on the wing, but we did bring on Destiny Jenkins, and she's 5'0", but what everybody's gonna love about her is she can shoot that thing from 30 feet. I call her Big Shot Bob because she's got that game winner. She got ice in her veins. So,
okay,
like I said, she hit the shots to send UIW to the national tournament. Having her here, and she's just an amazing spirit. I think she's definitely going to be a fan favorite because she always has a big smile on her face, and she just brings such joy to everything she does. So the fans are really, really enjoy watching her play.
Well, I know you always excited about the fresh blood that comes in for the players, but you also, a lot of people don't know, you've been doing a bunch of juggling, holding different roles, not only as a head coach, but assistant coach, recruiting, and all this kind of stuff. What does it feel like to have a staff on hand now that you can actually get some things done with?
Oh, my gosh. Last year was tough. Last year was tough, but this year we have a full staff in place. We have Coach Danny Evans, who's a veteran in its own right. He was with me at Southern, my first year down there as a head coach, and he went on to become a head coach at UAPB. He had been out of coaching for a couple of years, and one thing about Coach Evans, he's a closer, and he's a veteran. He knows basketball, played for Ralph Miller. Some of you all who are big basketball alums know about basketball. They know who Ralph Miller is. Played for him up at Oregon State. So his pedigree is unmatched. So having him here, and he's great with the kids. They love him. They tease him all the time. And then one of my former student athletes, Brittany Washington, it's kind of funny because we were having dinner, and one of the team down the street, alum, came up and introduced himself. And he said, "Aren't you Brittany Washington?" And she said, "Yes, sir, I am." And he was like, "I am such a fan because you always shot that ball to put us out of the tournament." And so it was just kind of cute and funny that she was recognized. But, she's known for shooting, and she's been working with the kids on shooting. And we also have Portia Jewell, who's a local product here in Houston Tillotson. And then Coach Jackson is back with me. So complete staff, and really excited about, where we are and how we've been able to work together and throughout the summer and on one accord, and just ready to get after it on Monday for our first practice.
Well, it sounds extremely exciting in Pantherland. Now, when is that first tip-off for the new season, Coach?
November 7th, because I think that Tuesday is the 8th, and we are not allowed by NCAA rules to play on that date. So we have to get the kids off. So I think it's that Monday the 7th, but don't quote me. I don't have my schedule in front of me.
But we can safely say the first week of November for sure. So that is safe enough to assume. Now, That's a lot of time to cover and a lot of progress to be made. You got to promise me, Coach, that you're going to keep us up to speed here at the open mic on how the team is developing.
Will do. I'll tell you what, I'll do better. I'll promise that I'll come on next month and right before the first game, so we can update and and get our chat in, because if nothing else, two things I enjoy doing: talking about basketball and talking to Mike Preet. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we're looking forward to it as well, Coach. And once again, your word, you promised next month and the month after that. So that will cover October and November.
I got
okay.
you, Mike. I got you.
I just like to, dot the I's and cross the T's and make sure we got everything good. Well, look, Coach, it's always a joy and a pleasure to talk to you and to learn from you about not only what's going on the court, but off the court. It's a lot more to it. It's definitely a juggling act. I told you off the air more than once, I don't think I could coach in today's conditions, but I tip my hat to you and every coach in the land for what you guys are doing. And with that being said, I want to give you some closing thoughts and comments as we get ready to wrap this segment up.
As always, it's a pleasure and an honor to come on to the show and speak with you, Mike, and what you do for not only Prairie View but HBCUs in general, and giving us a platform to come on and interact and talk about what we love dearly, our sports. Hats off to you, and I don't think you get enough awards or applause for what you do, and sometimes that's rain or shine for you. So I want to just give you those flowers, because what you do is amazing, and thank you so much. And all the blessings on many more shows and opportunities for us to be able to showcase our Prairie View Panthers down the road. So thank you so much for what you do.
Wow. Well, thank you, ma'am. And, I'm coming up, believe it or not, on my 5,000th show. Can you believe that? On my 5,000th show, and we could not be able to present these shows without coaches like yourself and other people who are interested enough to keep hearing what this old boy got to say, and we're going to keep on doing it until sweet Jesus himself says, enough, my son, come on home. So I thank you again for making yourself available. Thank our listeners for joining in with us on today. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Subscribe to that today. Hit that bell notification time, and you will never, ever miss any productions, whether it's audio or video, that we create here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And don't forget to visit our website at obnradio.com. The clock on the wall tells me that is all, and I must exit stage left. But until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.